Y'all, when I found out Katy Perry's tour was coming here to Austin, I went to go and check out tickets. You would not believe how much they cost. Like, I couldn't imagine paying that much money back in her heyday. It is so wild the lengths some celebrities will go to stage their comeback. Like, I don't know, maybe going to space? Girl, this is not an SNL sketch. It's real life. Now, while some people might have forgot about Katy between her Super Bowl halftime show and her trip to space, today we'll be spilling some tea. Our girl Katy has been flopping for years.
23, I got my first big break. Thank God I didn't get it any earlier because it's just like rejection sometimes is God's protection.
And now I'm taking up space, bitch. Mm-hmm. I'm taking up space.
And there you can see the crew of 6 taking in everything that this mission had to offer.
Katy Perry jumped out of the aircraft and kissed the ground in a painfully cringe moment that has been roasted online.
We are on a sinking ship.
From Wondery and at Will Media, this is The Big Flop, where we chronicle the greatest flubs, fails, and blunders of all time. I'm your host, Misha Brown, social media superstar, and I kissed a girl and didn't like it, at your bestie Misha. And on our show today, I'm so excited because we have the co-host of the very funny podcast, Happy Wife, Happy Life. It's Jordan Myrick and Kendahl Landreth. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Okay, before we get in today's episode, are you more of a California girl or a dark horse?
Well, I'm a huge fan of California. I'm California's #1 fan. I grew up here. I love California, so I'd say I'm a California girl. I just can't be a dark horse. I wish I was a dark horse, but I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah,
fair.
I think I am like cusp because I echo all of Kendahl's sentiments about California. We are addicted to the state of California, but I would say I have goth undertones.
Okay. I feel that. I love that.
You're a California girl rising and then dark horse. Moon. There we go.
Well, today we're talking about none other than Miss Katy Perry, a reigning queen of pop music not that many years ago. Now, she's got the eye of the tiger. She is a fighter, dancing through the fire, a champion, and you're gonna hear her flop. So if I told you 10 years ago that we'd be sitting here roasting Katy Perry's more recent career decisions, what would you think?
Well, first of all, I'm appalled we're doing it now. So I would have been shocked 10 years ago, and I'm even more shocked now. As a person who's attended the Vegas residency recently...
Hey, not a flop.
Not a flop in sight for me.
Yeah, I think that if you were to tell me 10 years ago that Katy Perry, can no longer dance and she was friends with a bunch of billionaires, I would be like, yeah, 100%. I love her. Oh, I loved her. I can't say I love her anymore. I think she's so bad and so wrong. I don't understand what she's doing. She's betraying all gay people. I'm sad. I wish it had gone a different way.
Absolutely. Katy Perry, she's a household name. She's gone multi-platinum over and over again. She's headlined an extremely memorable Super Bowl halftime show. But let's back up all the way to the early years of this California girl. Now, Kate Hudson, yes, that's Perry's real name, just like the famous actress, is born in Santa Barbara, California in October of 1984, just a few days before Halloween.
Fun.
We love it. Now, even though Katy Perry was born so close to Halloween, her family will not be celebrating. There will be no adorable spooky onesies for baby Katy or trick-or-treating when she's a little bit more grown up. And that's because her parents are very, very religious. So much so that they run their own Pentecostal church. Now, Halloween, just like most fun things, is a pagan tradition and therefore associated with devil worship. Even the word devil or eating anything devilish is forbidden. That means no deviled eggs, no devil's food cake. And I am not joking. Literally.
Yes, I've seen conservative people call them angel eggs, which is wild to me. But I'm also like, how did they end up in Santa Barbara? That's not a place where you go to start your own Pentecostal church.
Maybe the calling was there. These people really need Jesus.
And she came all the way to killing a nun.
Full circle.
She's done a full
circle.
Actually,
full
knowing
turnaround.
that story, what you just said about her family, I'm like, it actually was more of a hero's journey than we thought.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think
Sad
so.
scenario.
It was noble when she killed that nun.
Absolutely, especially because when she was growing up, she was not brought up to question things. It was like, this is how things are. Now, luckily, Perry discovers she has some musical talent, except she's not allowed to listen to or perform secular music at all. Her parents do have some connections in the gospel music industry, and off to Nashville she goes. And by the time she's 16, Perry completes her first album. It's a contemporary Christian rock EP called Katy, Hudson. Now, the sound/vibe is pious evanescence, but worse.
Ugh.
That sounds like a font. I don't even know what that is.
Absolutely. I think that's evil. I think the only white people who should be allowed to do gospel music are Switchfoot. Because I do think that one song was really good. But other than that, I think white people should not be allowed to touch gospel music. I think it should be illegal.
Okay, question. What if I said it was white people who scat in the gospel music?
I think they should be shot in the head. Silencer rifle.
Corporal punishment, absolutely.
Immediately. I don't believe in corporal punishment, but that I do.
That's
just
the
that
one thing.
one instance.
Her album only sells 200 copies.
200 copies is like Girl Scouts sell more cookies than that. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, you have more neighbors to buy things from you than just 200 copies.
Especially if you live in Santa Barbara.
Yeah, that's wild to me. That tells me not only was it bad, they were hated. Those people, that family, the
Or
Hudson
she wasn't
family.
working hard. I'm like, you need to be going door to door. That's insane.
Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe just God had other plans for her.
I guess so.
Well, after her breakthrough album fails to break through, Perry returns home to Santa Barbara, and she briefly works at an antique shop while she figures out next steps. And then, at age 17, she moves to Los Angeles to try her hand at the forbidden secular music her parents warned her about. They're not happy about this turn of events, but Perry, she learns to live with it. Now, young Perry, she has promise. She starts collaborating with one of Alanis Morissette's producers. And that's a huge deal, especially for Perry, who has come to idolize Morissette. And they spend 3 years writing and producing an album. And while that's happening, Perry even gets asked to become a lead vocalist in a band. But both her solo album and her group project fail to launch. So Perry then spends the next 3 years borrowing money from her parents and trying to find a new way to break into the music biz.
What is with these people who hate their parents using their money? I have so many friends that they're like, oh, my parents, I don't speak. I hate my parents, I hate my parents. But they're like freelance and they also don't work. And I'm like, what's going on here? And they're like, well, my parents pay for my rent. I'm like, I'm sorry, that is really awesome because I feel like that's insane to like not speak to your parents, you hate your parents, but they're like, yeah, I mean, she's like worships the devil, but we'll send her a couple bucks.
We'll send her a couple, she'll come around. One more 20 and she'll come around. So in 2007, Perry, she gets her big break and she signs with Capitol Records, one of the biggest labels in the industry. She's paired up with Lukasz Gottwald, aka Dr. Luke, a talented and, we'll see later, problematic music producer.
Uh-oh.
And he helps her make I Kissed a Girl. And it's a hit. Overnight sensation she is.
Of course.
You want to sing some?
No, thank you so much for asking. And you don't want Kendahl to sing some either.
This was never the way I planned, not my intention.
Wow. Loved it.
I do want to know, is there any background, since you appear to be a historian on the subject, did she kiss a girl or is that just a song Dr. Luke wrote for her because he's a pervert?
Right. He wanted to consensually kiss a girl one time. Katy Perry said, I kissed a girl. Truth be told, I did more than that.
I'm not buying it. Sorry.
I believe it.
I think it's a PR stunt. I don't think she did it.
I bet she did have sex with a girl, but it is like she can't not talk about it. Anytime you get dinner with her, she's like, well, yeah, I had sex with a girl.
I'm also like, what kind of sex did she have? I think there was like maybe some light fingering. I don't think that she's done full, you know what I'm like, her face has not been near a crotch.
Yeah, I feel that. Well, just like how we feel about whether she kissed a girl or not, that's how people received this song. Some people hate it, like Conservatives think it's outrageous, hedonistic slop. And then other folks think it's outrageous, exploitative, also slop. Either way,
Sure.
she's so naughty.
Yeah.
But, she can't please everybody. But the single does go multi-platinum, so who really cares, right? Now, summer of 2010, Perry reaches astronomical heights. Her sophomore album, Teenage Dream, solidifies Perry's pop diva status, okay? It has 5 #1 singles, which is unheard of, except for the one time Michael Jackson did it in 1987. So other than the very real possibility that Perry might have signed a contract with Satan herself, how do you explain the success of Teenage Dream?
I think it was at a time when we needed it. I think it was fun and easy, but I think that whoever writes her music does an incredible job at just writing something that's both catchy and vague.
Mm-hmm.
Firework is so vague.
Is Last Friday Night on that album? That music video, I did not really grow up in a music video time. We were not like all huddling around watching music videos. We were watching Last Friday Night's music video. We were obsessed with it. Firework, same thing, honestly, where it's like, what was it? Like a plastic bag comes in and it's like a girl with cancer and she's like screaming at her that she's worth something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think doesn't think she's worth something. I think she's sad she has cancer,
Yeah.
but they're like, they were just so iconic in that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I do think the theatrics of her, I think, especially coming off of like the era of Lady Gaga when things were a little more grungy, a little more dark, a little more like adult. And then her just being so bubblegum, it was just the complete opposite, but still had that very much over the top theatrics to it, which I think probably helped. So here's a question. What's your all-time favorite Katy Perry cartoonish dessert bra? We've got a few to choose from.
Oh, thank God. We have pictures of these in our house, but we don't want to have to leave the room.
I mean, for me, the blue hair, first of all, was so good. And I don't think I've ever seen someone, like, to me, I'm like, she should have stuck with that color, which is crazy. But I love the blue hair with the pink cupcakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to say Hershey's Kisses.
Because love Hershey's Kisses.
While it's not the most flashy, I love Hershey's Kisses and also breasts. So it felt like a real kind of homage to me personally, which was really special.
Yeah, I love that. Well, amid all of this growing success, Perry lands a cameo role in a movie called Get Him to the Greek, where she meets actor Russell Brand, and they quickly fall in love before marrying in 2010. Maybe this is another clue that she's in league with the devil. Brand and Perry actually get married in a traditional Hindu wedding. For the record, neither of them is Hindu. But Brand has dabbled in Buddhism and other religions, so close enough. He is also British, and his people do have a long history of appropriating Asian goods and culture. So
absolutely.
Par for the
he would have
course.
really been thriving in the time when Kabbalah was everything to us, when everyone was wearing that little red strand bracelet. Madonna and all these other celebrities kind of like rode the Kabbalah wave and are still relatively fine. I think he missed the boat on that, tried to do the whole religious thing. Too late, no one joined. And now he's just a huge loser.
huge. This does appear to be something that Brand and Perry have in common, because you may not even remember that they ever get married because the relationship dissolves very quickly and Brand breaks it off after about a year. He texts her right before she's about to go on stage for a performance.
Yeah, I remember watching that in the documentary and crying so hard that I couldn't breathe. Why? I don't know. I don't care about them at all.
Because you can picture, because she responded in kind of a first heartbreak way.
Sure.
After my first girlfriend broke up with me, I was sent home from work. I worked as a canoe rental woman, and I was crying too much at my canoe rental station.
And the other canoe rental women were already crying a lot. So the fact that Kendahl was crying that much to be sent home says a lot.
So Perry brushes off her first failed Hollywood marriage like a pro and records more albums. In 2013, she releases Prism, which features singles Roar and Dark Horse. Most of her tracks are a collaboration with music producer Dr. Luke, who at this time is very in demand on the pop scene. He's a huge part of her career trajectory. Now, in subsequent years, that is going to go off of the rails, but we'll just put a pin in that for a minute. People quickly noticed that a song by Sarah Bareilles called Brave sounds very similar to Roar. To be quite honest, both Roar and Brave are very generic 4-chord pop ballads that sound like a million other songs. But people immediately assume Perry is plagiarizing, mashing up the songs to prove there's wrongdoing. Now, the question's why do they immediately latch onto this? I think it's because she's been in everyone's ears for a couple of years, so the public feels like they can finally be free to hate on her.
Oh, yeah.
So the shine is off the apple, or I guess the cream has fallen off the cupcake-shaped bikini top, if you will. But Perry does need to reinvent herself, but that's also risky. Sexy Candy Girl is getting stale, so how about cultural appropriation girl? In 2013, Perry performs at the American Music Awards in a kimono, surrounded by dancers in Japanese-inspired clothing, holding ornate fans against a backdrop of cherry blossoms. Some people love it, but a lot of people think it's offensive. Any opinions either way or the other?
I feel crazy because I don't remember this. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I remember this. I
thought you were going to say, so she tried doing alien stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I was like, yes.
That's what you remember being next?
Yes, that's what I remember being next. But okay, I don't remember this.
I thought it was stupid. It felt like really grasping at straws. I think that she was trying to go full Gwen Stefani. And unfortunately, all cultural appropriation is bad, but no one will ever do it as well as Gwen Stefani.
Sure.
So I think Katy Perry was like, I'm going to do the Gwen Stefani. People really liked that. Yeah. Katy Perry just feels fake to me. And when she was leaning into the fakeness of it all, of like, she's an adult woman being like, I'm Candy Girl. It's like, well, we know that's not true. So it feels kind of like fun and ironic. So then when she's like, no, I'm going to now do culture, it feels wrong.
Right. Yeah. Okay,
sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And I mean, she leans into it as well. It wasn't just this one moment. Like, there's the hit Dark Horse, and the video features Perry as Cleopatra, who happens to be an evil sorceress, and she's being wooed by various suitors dressed as powerful Egyptians. But this video leads to a change.org petition calling out Perry as a blasphemer.
Katy Perry and a lot of other people forget that Cleopatra was a person from a place. I think people think that she is essentially like Captain America. They're like, that's a character that I have that I've seen.
We can thank Party City for that.
Exactly. They're like, that's a character. And so I think she forgot. I do think she's a blasphemer, though.
I will say there was one moment, though, that I truly was like, the blasphemy is getting out of control. In her performance of the song at the Grammys, she portrayed a witch who pole dances using a broom. And I'm sorry, that is purposefully blasphemous to pilgrims.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So, and I haven't liked her ever since. I've never forgiven her.
Yeah.
That is where you draw the line.
And that's the tea. That's why we're having this podcast episode today.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because that's your cultural background, right? You come from the Pilgrims?
I come from the Pilgrims, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, around this time, Perry also gets on the bad side of pop history because of her gigantic feud with Taylor Swift. Uh-oh. Now that there is way too much involved in that to unpack in this episode, but as fans take sides, Katy's pop star dominance becomes very precarious. But even amidst the controversy, she successfully headlines the 2015 Super Bowl halftime show, Never Forget Left Shark.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 2015, I mean, with all of this going on in real time, I was, I guess, busy twirling on my own stages. I wasn't really aware of like problematic sides of Katy Perry popping up. What team were you on? Were you still like ride or die for Katy in 2015, or was this on your radar?
This was not on my radar. I didn't really, I remember people being mad about the Dark Horse stuff, but to my recollection, she was like pretty quickly like, my bad. Like, I don't remember it being such a like huge, long-standing issue. And I feel like a lot of her appropriation of the African-American community came later to my recollection, but this was all before I would say I was really tapped into pop culture, but I was still a fan, and I'm not a Swiftie. So that feud did not affect me at all.
Absolutely. I also think that probably a lot of the reason why these problematic things exist, but maybe they weren't like in the forefront of our like brains and memory, is because we have to remember like we're in a whole new age of social media where like these things today, like she wears a costume like that and it's like over on TikTok. You know what I mean? It would be everywhere, but I don't think that's
exactly.
Life wasn't like that in 2015.
No.
But in 2016, things were looking up for Miss Perry. A year has passed since Taylor's release of Bad Blood, and she's still in pretty good public standing. She also meets and falls in love with actor Orlando Bloom. But then there was another snafu. She performs at the Democratic National Convention, and she gives a short speech.
So, both of my parents are pastors and staunch Republicans. I didn't finish high school, and unfortunately, I don't have a formal education. But I do have an open mind, and I have a voice. So I'm asking you to have an open mind and to use your voice, because on November 8th, you'll be just as powerful as any NRA lobbyist. You'll have as much say as any billionaire. Or you can just cancel out your weird cousin's vote if you like. Because remember, it's not where you come from, it's what you grow into. So here's how I'm going to use my voice. I'm going to vote for Hilary Clinton.
Wait, am I losing the thread? I don't think that's that bad.
Why was I moved? Why was I moved, actually?
Am I not okay? What did she say that I
for
missed?
president.
I thought she was going to say a slur, so I was braced. I'm like holding our desk. Why did people not like that?
So I think at first, I think people just saw her as like too much of a limousine liberal. But then what really happened and what the downfall was that when Clinton loses her bid for president in November, Perry gets a lot of that blowback by association.
No, I'm sorry. That's wild. I would love for it to have been Katy Perry's fault. Unfortunately, it wasn't. I think that it does make her seem stupid when she goes, I did not finish high school. I did not have, so you didn't finish high school because you wanted to move to LA and be a pop star and your parents footed the bill and you are from Santa Barbara.
Yes.
Like that is not, to me, that feels like when someone's like, I'm a single mom, and you're like, oh, okay. And then you find out that they are divorced and both they and their husband share custody and they are rich. I'm like, that's not what people don't say it like that, meaning that. People are thinking Reba. People aren't thinking, like you and your rich husband who works for like ExxonMobil doing joint custody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, ma'am, you have an au pair.
Yes, and that's what Katy Perry is giving to me in that moment.
Well, she's back to music. In 2017, her album Witness receives mixed reviews, and it only has one single in the top 10 slot on Billboard, a song called Chained to the Rhythm. Witness is deemed too experimental, and now Perry has revealed herself to be somewhat politically conscious, so that's not sexy, unfortunately. So whether it was the music or the politics, something's changed about Katy. And maybe it was her new haircut. This was her big transformation moment.
What was the hair? What was this hair?
The pixie cut.
Oh, Lord. I did not like it. I did not like it.
This was the birth of the pixie cut.
She got this haircut and American Idol called her and said, it's actually the time in your career where you have to be a judge for us.
Yeah. No more performing.
It was not good.
Yeah.
This is giving midlife crisis. That's what happens. You become a judge on a competition reality show.
Yes, you have to come sit next to Lionel Richie now.
Yes, there we go. Perhaps this haircut is why, dramatic pause, Orlando Bloom breaks up with Perry.
I would have broken up with her too.
JK, it's not the haircut, but they do have some turbulence and they separate, which leaves Perry pretty broken for a time. By 2018, Perry's public image is really kind of all over the place. Besides her needing to bounce back from the lackluster album, she's also one of the few popular singers who defends her longtime producer, Dr. Luke, in court when he's accused in civil court by Kesha of sexual assault.
What a joke.
What is the end game with stuff like that? There's there's some people, and I'm sure there's stuff behind the scenes I don't know about. Well, I'm sure of that.
If I had to guess, yeah.
Because I know nothing about what's going behind the scenes with Dr. Luke. But I feel like there's some celebrities where they start speaking out. I mean, I guess it's like the J.K. Rowling of it all. Of
or
like,
with Danny Masterson, the guy from that 70s show.
Yeah,
I know.
Like, sexually assaulted all those women. And then so many people were like, he actually has always been really nice to
I'll
me.
speak
like
on the stand.
Legally in court. And I'm like, cool, kill him. Who cares? No one came out and was like, Dr. Luke would never do this.
No.
Kesha is a liar and he's bad. Instead, they're like, listen, this industry is big and life is long and music is art. Thank you. And I'm like, what? So it's that to me, it's like, you're not even like, this is my friend and I have his back and I know he didn't do it. You're just like such a coward.
It's like Katy just give the same speech. They're like, you're giving the same speech you give at the DNC. Why are you
And I am voting for Hillary Clinton.
So the lawsuit is eventually settled without Dr. Luke admitting any wrongdoing, but many a pop star end up taking Kesha's side in the fight, including T. Swift, Lady Gaga, and Ariana Grande, queens. Now, from this point on, Perry is in a precarious spot, and so it's time for another pivot. And what should Perry do to bring herself back into the spotlight? She becomes a judge on the rebooted American Idol.
She reminds me so much of, if you ever watched 30 Rock, Jenna.
Yeah.
She is literally Jenna from 30 Rock. What does she say? She's like, well, will be willing to go gay or cowboy.
Yeah, it's like but then that's Katy Perry.
In 2020, Katy Perry is still a judge on American Idol, which might be a tad embarrassing, but hey, a gig is a gig.
So true.
And Perry has also gotten back together with Orlando Bloom and they're with child. In August, Perry gives birth to their daughter, Daisy. And 2 days later, she gives metaphorical birth to her 6th studio album called Smile. Now, even though the album is released during a relatively happy time in Perry's life, it comes after a few rocky years and features songs about her breakup with Bloom, her disappointing 5th album, and all of the public backlashes. And to hammer the point home, the cover artwork features Perry as a sad clown.
What songs are on this album?
Daisy, for sure.
What's that? Sing it, girl.
I don't know.
You love to sing.
I remember hearing it in concert, but I was so drunk. I was like literally drunker than I've ever been.
Okay.
But I like it. I remember it. I think it's like it's like a nice song.
There's a song about her last album doing badly.
That's not a good, that's pretty embarrassing.
I mean, we all go through our Joker phase in our careers where we question our craft and consider doing evil, but she did this and the reviews for this album, Smile, were not great. So, given all that you know about Katy Perry, what would be your next move?
Join OnlyFans, I think would have been a pivot that made sense. I think no, she needs to take a break from music so people can miss it.
Sure.
And then come back to it. And then there's a nostalgia factor to it.
I have 2 avenues. I can't decide because I think my instinct is she has to go full camp. It's like she has to know who she is. She has to go back to those early days, but in a new way that's almost like making fun of the old days, but in a fun way, whatever. But my second option is I think there's a world where she becomes completely like a trad wife and then posts photos and videos and then starts her own protein powder brand or something that's made on her farm. So I think she could go like that and then have a couple more kids and really post a lot about that and then go take that audience and go back to her gospel roots and do kind of a rustic but pop-ish type country gospel thing.
That would have been great.
It's like a one-take music video. It's like her sitting in a field. Yeah. And it's called Katy Perry Raw or something.
Just sunflowers. I see the vision. Well, you both were right around what she actually did, and that was the Las Vegas residency.
Mm-hmm. It was the move.
That was her next move, which Kendahl, it went right back to her roots. It was back to the cartoonish, colorfulness. You saw the show, you said. Her residency in Las Vegas, it was called Play, and it's actually her first critical and financial success in a long time.
It was great.
Yeah, it was one of the highest grossing female-led Vegas shows in history and makes over $45 million by the time it closes in 2023. It's got dancing robots, dancing mushrooms, giant toilets, and a singing piece of poop. Tell us about the show. What do you remember?
It was so Vegas. It's so great. It's so amazing. We were talking about this the other day because I was talking about on America's Got Talent, how it's you get a Vegas residency. And I'm always like, that is so weird. Some of these people that win, I'm like,
it's like one girl playing an acoustic guitar and she's 12 years old.
Yeah, Grace Vanderwaal is going to have a Vegas residency. Like when I'm on LSD, I don't want to go see Grace Vanderwaal in concert. Like these are people, not that I've ever done LSD in Vegas. I'm not that cool. But I am just like, if you're having fun in Vegas, you want to go to a show like that. That is such a perfect Vegas residency show. So I think it was just absolutely the right move. I was like, she should just do this forever.
Literally. Yeah. And I agree with Kendahl on that. I think it was like, it was so good. She's one of those people kind of like Pink where you just forget how many hits they have.
Yeah. Sure.
Where all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, she's played 30 songs and I know every word to every single one of them. It's fun. She like gets up there. She like talks just enough, but not too much. What she says like doesn't really make sense.
But she's a good performer. She has a presence. Like I do think there is like an X factor essence. It's just this kind of energy of like, that's a famous person.
I love that. I didn't get a chance to see it. So love to hear that. Now, one thing about her residency, there is reporting that the hotel which hosted Perry's residency lost $250,000 every single performance. But that's like
how?
I don't know, but that's a them problem.
I don't understand.
Related. That does not feel related.
Yeah, because we stayed there. I've stayed there twice now. We had a nice experience at this hotel in these 2 times, and I don't understand if the show was making so much money. How was the hotel losing?
Well, maybe Katy Perry was a good luck charm, so everyone's going out and doing slots after.
That's
and
it. It's witchcraft.
Okay.
It was her witchcraft.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's her doing stripping on the broom.
It's her pole dancing on the broom that did it.
It was the long con.
Once Perry wraps up her show in 2023, she's ready to be done with American Idol and reclaim her throne with an album that's better than ever. The first single from the upcoming album is released in July of 2024, and it's called Woman's World. It's dropped alongside a companion music video featuring Perry dressed as a sexy Rosie the Riveter before she transforms into a cyborg who pumps gasoline into her own butt.
This would have been unbelievable.
I know. That's what I was going to say.
10 to 15 years ago.
And that's what must be so hard, to be like, just watching yourself do stuff that you know would have been number 1 on the charts 15 years ago, and you just can't get out of it.
Yeah, 15 years ago, gay people would have been on their knees for that song. I promise you. But a white lady can't release a song about how good ladies are in the year that this came out. It's just, we're past it. Too many things are happening politically. Also, I think people start to catch on to the fact that she's being fake in a bad way. I think people are like, okay.
Well, it's kind of like you need to calm down the song, like the Taylor Swift moment of that.
Exactly.
It's a little like,
it's like, shut up. Yeah. I think it felt stupid. She's like, girl power. And I'm like, girl power?
Where?
You want us to all pay $75 to park at the Glendale Galleria?
I know. I mean, yeah, even though Women's World was supposed to be a feminist anthem, at least according to Perry, it is full of classic male gaze cliches like Perry's barely functioning sequin bikini. And it also feels like there's supposed to be a deeper meaning to the video, but it's really hard to figure out what that is. Like, for example, when Perry struts around a vague dystopian world, like, is this the woman's world? The utter chaos surrounding you,
where 2 gay delivery men are making out?
Yeah. So, I mean, is it saying that we're lucky? Like, it's supposed to be like ironic? I don't know. She then steals a black woman's ring light because it looks like the female gender symbol, then glamorously hangs from a helicopter while raising the symbol for all to see. Meanwhile, the woman who's had her ring light stolen is yelling at her.
Sure.
Not the ring light. That is crazy.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, that's that.
She's just not trying at all, because it's like every 3 years she releases one song that's horrible that I could have written. And it's just kind of like, I don't know, I'll just be like in a hot bikini. I'm like, you don't care at all is what it seems like.
But that's not even the worst thing about this song. Perry brought on longtime collaborator Dr. Luke to produce the track.
And people asked her a lot of questions. I remember everyone was asking her questions about it. And she literally has a quote that is not this, but is exactly this, where she's like, music is a thing that everyone in the world can appreciate. and together we all listen. When someone was like, why are you working with Dr. Luke after he's had all these sexual assault claims? And that was her like exact answer.
And then she got on the rocket.
Yeah, it's giving hypocritical. But not only has Perry defended the accused producer, Dr. Luke, she's gone back to work with him on this. It makes for a lot of backlash online.
Gasoline butt.
Despite the bad press around her single and the narrative that she's already failed to come back, Perry plows forward and releases her new album, 143. It's the lowest rated album of her career.
Of all time, of any artist.
Of any artist.
Yeah.
It's got a 2% on Rotten Tomatoes. So she needs to make a bold move, and fast. So where can Katy go to prove that she's a powerful, divine female? Space. I don't know why I did an echo of myself.
I loved it.
Thank you. So Perry will absolutely go on tour from her album 143, but first she's got to go to space. If there's anything we know about rich people, it's that they inexplicably must go to space. I mean, my theory is once you've done a Super Bowl halftime show, what else could possibly make you feel alive? February 27th, 2025, Jeff Bezos' space company Blue Origin announces its first all-female mission. Actually, it's the world's first all-female space mission since 1963. The last one, it was literally one woman, so it was technically an all-female mission in 1963.
Okay, I stand by that.
Now, for some space nerds, this is actually really exciting. For most other people, this is sketchy at best. The mission, dubbed NS-31, will include some scientists, like bioastronautics researcher Amanda Nguyen and aerospace engineer Aisha B., but it will also include broadcaster Gayle King, socialite Carrie Ann Flynn, and Our Lady Katy Perry. Oh, and also Jeff Bezos' wife, Lauren Sanchez.
Those scientists that had to go on that deserve a Nobel Peace Prize.
They sure do.
The idea of these scientists being up in space, looking down at Earth, something they probably worked on their whole career, everything's led up to this. And Jeff Bezos' wife is like taking iPhone pictures and Katy Perry is singing. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, this space mission. So the 6 women, they board Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket, crossing the Kármán line, aka the border between our atmosphere and outer space, for 11 minutes of weightlessness and then returning. Perry, she was stoked. In the press, she expresses her desire to learn literal rocket science. She says that she wants to make space glam and that she's proud this venture will be important for commercial space travel, women, and ultimately all of humanity. You know what? Let's have her explain.
I'm really excited about the engineering of it all. I'm excited to learn more about STEM and just the math about what it takes to accomplish this type of thing. I was listening to Cosmos by Carl Sagan and reading a book on string theory, and I've always been interested in astrophysics and interested in astronomy and astrology and the stars.
Okay, never mind. She deserved to go.
Yeah.
She is a scientist.
Sorry to scientists. Oh, I thought you meant she deserved to die. You meant she deserved to go to space.
Yo, she deserved to go to space.
I was like, sorry to scientists. Sometimes we all have to make a sacrifice. Listening to that is so wild. She does not know what she's talking about. But once again, this is her problem. Like, just be like, I don't know. I thought it would be fierce and the homos would love it or whatever. And then I think people would have been more like, ha, that's funny. But instead she's being like, I love astrology. I mean astronomy. Carl Sagan. Like, it's just.
Didn't she say I love math in there?
No formal education, always learning.
Yeah,
100%.
Always learning.
100%.
And I relate to that. I do relate to that. I'm a sponge.
Student of the world.
I think sometimes we need stuff like this to just it's like the only thing we can unify on is how insane this is.
Yeah.
And it just makes us laugh and it's like not serious and we can just enjoy that little moment of insanity.
Sure. So the day before the launch, she becomes very emotional, telling all her followers that she loves them and that this space flight is confirmation that she's gone in the right direction with her life. She sees the signs that she's meant to be there. And Blue Origin's logo is a feather, and her mother used to call her feather. And the capsule is called Tortoise, and her mother also used to call her Tortoise.
No, a lie. But once again, she has to be lying more. Like, just like if you watch Cola Scola be interviewed where they're just like saying anything and none of it's true, that is the route that Katy Perry should have taken.
Absolutely.
Of just, being like, my mom used to call me Tortoise, my mom used to call me Feather, my mom used to call me Bezos, my mom called me Spaceship. Like, just, she needs to be like fake, but in a good way.
She's not trying to be funny. That's what's so hard.
That's
it's
so
like,
sick.
That's what's hard.
How sad is that? It's like, we're like, she needs to just lean into it more. I'm like, she's not leaning into anything. She thought she sounded smart in that interview.
She wants to be taken seriously,
Absolutely.
and that's devastating.
She said, I love math. And then in her head, she was like, I just killed that.
Yeah. Well, on April 14th, it's go time. 3, 2, 1, blast off. Katy Perry is up in space for real. Whee! And she truly makes the most of it. First of all, like you said, she took the time to have all of the women in space listen to her sing What a Wonderful World. So Perry brings a little daisy flower with her to honor her daughter, Daisy. It's a lovely gesture that most online trolls absolutely hate. Finally, whereas her science-focused crew members might be doing some experiment or other, Perry holds up a butterfly cutout to the live stream camera that announces her set list for her upcoming world tour, the Lifetimes Tour, which to me gives eras, but okay. And the lettering on the cutout was so small, almost nobody can read it, which, like, how embarrassing.
No one was trying to also.
Also, nobody cared.
Right, no one cares.
While some question the ethical nature of celebrity and commercial space travel in a time of economic turndown, mostly people on the internet just can't believe that here, in 2025, one of our bigger headlines is that Katy Perry went to space for 11 minutes. I mean, it's vaguely dystopian, sort of like her Woman's World video. Wait, was that the point of the video?
Woman's World?
It is a good video.
Wait,
we love it.
Backtracking.
We just figured out the hidden meeting.
Backtrack.
Yeah.
So it's unclear if Perry learned any rocket science while she was up in space. I'm going to guess that she did not. But she doesn't have time to read the mean comments about her out of this world experience because her tour starts just 9 days after she lands back on planet Earth. So any wild guesses at what the theme of her concert is?
The Americana.
Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Kitten Heels, as inspired by Hillary Clinton. The story of the concert tour is that Perry is a half-human, half-machine character trapped inside a video game who's battling an AI called Mainframe. It sounds fun, but audiences get bored. They're mostly watching her play a game and not really participating, and the interactive elements that are there aren't built well. For example, the audience has to choose which song Perry will sing using a QR code, but if the Wi-Fi is spotty, it doesn't really work.
Okay.
So reviews are mixed, but the internet has spoken. After just 1 month of the tour, TikTok and Instagram flood with videos of Katy dancing, and cringe comes up a lot in the discourse around the show. It seems low effort, low budget, just like her latest album as a whole. Now, official seat maps on Ticketmaster for various US venues show a significant number of available seats, with more than half of the seats in certain arenas unsold. I live in Austin, and I saw her coming here, and I was like, for the plot, this would be fun. And I went and I looked, $600 for nosebleed.
But not for long. You wait until the night before the concert. But our tickets are going to be free.
Are they sold? But a bunch of them aren't sold?
Oh, yeah. No, but like the tickets were $600.
Karma's real. Do not do stuff with Dr. Luke. You won't be able to sell any concert tickets.
Absolutely. So several outlets, including the Economic Times and Futurism, report in late April of 2025 that the US leg of the Lifetimes tour was struggling with ticket sales. As of this taping, Katy Perry is in the middle of her tour. It'll continue to run until December of 2025, and it's not getting easier. On May 26th, she was running across the stage in Las Vegas during a performance, and her cone-shaped bra popped open. Now, I wish I was making this up, but it's like she's living in a 60s horny comedy at this point. But thankfully, and like I give her props for this, she laughed it off. She kept dancing and asked a stagehand to help her while explaining to the audience that they did not pay enough to see her bare boobs.
That's funny. Okay.
That's funny. Yeah, we'll give it to her for that. So let's do a little where are they now? Perry continues wading through her flop era. We'll see where she ends up. But she became one of planet Earth's biggest pop stars, but with record and concert sales down, not to mention the internet not being on her side, she's sinking rather quickly. I mean, maybe it's not her fault. Maybe it's just time for someone new to take up the air in the space shuttle for once. Perry herself has a theory that being on American Idol may have overexposed her and possibly ruined her career. In fact, she says she wishes she never did it.
Well, then she would be bankrupt if she hadn't, unfortunately. I think she should be grateful for American Idol. I don't think that's it. I think she needs to be for real with herself. I think what she needs to do is come out super left. I think she needs to apologize to everyone. I think she needs to start giving out her own stimulus checks exclusively to Black women as an apology for everything she's done. Yeah, I think that is the thing that could save her career now.
Sure. So here on The Big Flop, we try to be positive people and end on a high. So are there any silver linings that you can think of that came about from Miss Katy Perry's recent career decisions?
Oh, yes. I mean, space for me was a big one. I think it really was so funny. I know, like, I'm sure there's a million reasons it was like not great that happened. I don't know environmentally the impact of a rocket going into the air, but I have a feeling it's not great. I don't know, but it did make me laugh.
I loved her use of the double entendre. I think she was a master of it, and I think she used it in a really fun, campy way that allowed her to get a lot of pro-sex messages on the radio airwaves that maybe we wouldn't have gotten otherwise. And once again, Katy, we'll go to your Vegas residency again if you turn it around. I want the best for you. We are not haters. So I think you could easily turn it around. You just have to start like doing the right thing.
Absolutely. Well, now that you both know about the arc of Katy Perry's career, would you consider this a baby flop, a big flop, or a mega flop?
I would call her a flop star. I think it's a mega flop. I think she's had a flop at every single turn. And I think the biggest flop of all is her inability to lean into the flop. And once again, Katy, you still can do it, and I believe in you.
I'm gonna do big flop because it's kind of like the death by 1,000 cuts, it seems like, which I didn't realize, where it just seems like maybe she's constantly been flopping since she was put on this earth. But I do think she's really hot. So I'm just gonna not make it a mega flop. Because I'm like, there's nothing, no flops.
In case she wants to have sex with you.
In case she wants to sleep with me.
I'm not gonna say mega flop.
I'm just gonna leave that door open. Yeah, just a little bit.
I respect that.
Well, thank you so much to our superstar guests, Jordan Myrick and Kendahl Landreth, for joining us here on The Big Flop. And of course, thanks to all of you for listening and watching. If you're enjoying the show, please leave us a rating and review or subscribe. We'll be back next week with another flop. Was he a genius? A con artist? A murderer? One thing's for sure, his software was on just about everyone's computer in the 90s. It's the late, not so great, John McAfee. Bye.
Bye.
The Big Flop is a production of Wondery and At Will Media.